ProWrestling.net.
Hey, Paul. Ricochet missed the show in Belgium yesterday, and there's speculation that it's injury-related. Can you comment on his status for Saturday and going forward?
I just tweaked himself a little bit in the show in Paris. I believe I'm saying the right. Paris. We have so many shows in so many places. I said to lose track of him. Tweaked himself a little bit in Paris. He's not injured. We just didn't want to take a chance with it, and with TakeOver being just down the road a bit here, and you know. The one thing with athletes and you know this and across the board for kind of any sport and for us especially is, you know, these guys are thoroughbreds and girls and somebody has to pull the reins on them and tell them, you know, let's back off today, let's step up here. It is physical business and yeah, he just tweaked his shoulders a little bit but he's fine.
Great. And also, I know it's not NXT, but the UK Championship tournament falls under your umbrella projects. Can you explain the decision to not air it live and instead air it a week after it's going to take place?
Well, so it was a multi-pronged decision that was made, but one of the decisions that came into it for me was the availability of Royal Albert Hall. I think the last, I might mess up the dates, either 95 or 96, and I don't remember which one, was the last wrestling performance WWE wrestled, had a card there. I was actually on it. I believe it might have been 96, but could have been 95, but in Royal Albert Hall was the last wrestling they did, and it's a spectacular venue that has just this amazing history, and they just didn't have anything in there for the longest time wrestling related, and we've been kind of knocking on the door and trying to get in there, and you know, WWE, it's kind of too small for the main roster, perfect for NXT. We've been banging on the door. They finally kind of got whiff of what NXT is, and they called us back and said, hey, we'd love to have you. And the problem with Royal Albert Hall is availability, and the date became available, and the two dates that became available were a Monday and a Tuesday that are coming up, was 18th, 19th of June, right? And you know, it's problematic of a live television show on the same day we're shooting a live Raw, the night after a live pay-per-view, the night after a live TakeOver. It just became problematic, and I really wanted to run that venue. To me, the ambiance of Royal Albert Hall, it's very meaningful. You know, we were looking at trying to come back into Blackpool, kind of with the anniversary of the first tournament, but they were doing construction. And anyway, long story short, I wanted the building, I wanted the dates, I wanted that availability, and it worked out better to tape it. And that was kind of the biggest part of the decision making to it. You know, hopefully we're going to have some bigger announcements coming out of the other side of this and about things going forward. So it seemed like the right thing to do, and I know that there are some people saying like, but it's not live and social media. Let's don't go on social media for a minute, or don't read the results first. But I promise it'll be spectacular, and you know. There is something to be said to me sometimes about the amount of content that is being put out there. Right? There's a lot, and if you want to watch WWE on a weekly basis, you need to put a large portion of your life on the line here to watch all this programming and all that stuff. And there's a lot of choices to be made and a lot of everything else. I think part of the excitement to me about the network is that ability to go, look, I don't have time to watch it when it's live at that time on a Monday afternoon, knowing Raw's that night and all that stuff, so I'm going to watch it the following weekend in a better time slot when we can, and it'll still be exciting and it'll still be great content.